Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel once again. It's been a while. Today's tutorial is going to be on the making of the Raglan sleeve you are seeing on the screen right now. Okay, so I actually got a request to make this video and I decided to make this video to show you how you can achieve a beautiful Raglan sleeve. Okay, so the outfit you are seeing on the screen right there is a Raglan sleeve. When we talk about Raglan sleeves, we are talking about the connection of the sleeve from the neckline to the armhole with a straight line. So for the purpose of this tutorial right now, I'm going to make use of my basic full scale bodies. This is my basic full scale bodies. Of course, we are making a gown, but then I'm going to extend my basic full bodies right now to a gown, okay, right away. So when you look at these basic full scale bodies, a full scale bodies is a bodies from the shoulder to the hip length, okay, while a half scale is from the shoulder to the half or waist length. This is the waist length, but I still continued my drafting up to the hip length. Okay, so if you want to know how this full scale bodies is being drafted, you can join our online classes. Okay, we usually have our online classes on Telegram every month. Okay, you can join Simbright Fashion Academy online classes to learn how to make a full scale bodies. Okay, I'll be dropping the link to the classes on the description box below. Please, you can check it out. Okay, all right, so I have my basic full scale, my basic sleeve right here. This is a basic long sleeve. I have the drafting of this basic long sleeve on my channel. I'll be dropping the description on how to make a long sleeve on the description box below. So in case you don't know where the description box is just on your right hand side below this video. You will see an arrow pointing down, down, down. That is the description box. Just click on it and you can click on any of the links there to join our WhatsApp group, our online classes and all that. Okay, and also to click to know how you can draft your basic sleeve. All right, so right now we are about to start this tutorial right away. You will be seeing why we need the bodies front and why we need the sleeve. So we'll be working with this basic full scale and the long sleeve, and you are going to see how we are going to alter these two patterns to a beautiful Raglan sleeve. Okay, so right now I'll quickly get a fresh pattern paper. Okay, I have my fresh pattern paper in here. And I'm going to trace out what I have here. Okay, I'm going to create my border line and I'm going to trace out. So I'm going to trace it out in this manner. I'll create my border lines first so I can have my full scale bodies fitted, perfectly. Okay, then I'm going to place the long sleeve on the tip of my shoulder as if I'm fixing it. You see. So this is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So I have this long sleeve connected to the tip of the shoulder, as you can see, and connected to the tip and of the armhole this way. So this is how I'm going to trace it. I believe you are seeing it. So of course the picture you are seeing on the screen is a long sleeve, okay, with a band or a cuff at the wrist. We are going to also slash and spread this particular sleeve. Okay, so I want you to keep watching to see how we are going to alter these patterns to get exactly what we want. All right, so now let me quickly trace out this so we can begin this tutorial right away. All right, beautiful people, so you can see right now I've traced out my full scale bodies, as you can see. So this is my border line, which is the center front line. This is my center front and this is my shoulder line. So all I did was to trace out my full scale bodies. You can see how I traced it. I'm making sure it aligns with this line, the neckline, everything all together. I traced it out. Okay, but I have to ignore this bust dart because we are not going to use the bust dart. We are just going to make a simple gown with waist dart. Okay, so there is no bust dart to it. The front and the back is the same pattern. We are making use of this pattern for the front. In fact, whatever thing we cut here, that is what we are going to use for the back, but just that we are going to alter the neckline at the back just a little. All right, so now you can see the full scale bodice has been traced, and I'm taking it away. I have all the lines in here, the chest line, bust line, under bust and front length up to the point of my hip length. Okay, all right, this is my hip length. Okay, so on the hip length I'm going to also make a line to it. I have a hip of, okay, all right, this is we are not making use, I'm going to use my actual hip anyway. This is just the length of the top. I believe you understand that. So this is my hip length. I've already taken the measurement from the shoulder, so I'm taking away this. But before I take it away, I want to show you how I fused the sleeve. Okay, the long sleeve, because you are making a long sleeve, that's why I'm making use of a basic long sleeve. If you are making use of a short sleeve or a cap sleeve, you make use of a cap sleeve or short sleeve. So this long sleeve right now, I tilted it as if I fixed it. You can see it's matching up all the way from the neckline on the shoulder this way. Okay, so this is the actual way it's supposed to be after it has been fixed. So now I have to connect my lines to this point, as you can see, and this is where the line at which the sleeve terminated. Can you see? So I take this one away, that is this line, and then I take this one away. You can see the chest line matching up on the chest line. So this is the chest line and this is the armhole. All right, beautiful people, so you can see I've traced out my half scale bodies, full scale bodies, sorry, and this is it. You can see it, and my sleeve as well. Everything has been traced. Like I told you, I have to merge the tip of them together and trace it exactly the way they are. I believe you understand that. So that is the first thing you do. So right now, if you look at these lines I have in here, I have my chest line. Can you see? This is my chest line. It's still where it is. We have our bust point, under bust, and all that. So right now, what I'm going to do is to name them accordingly. My bust point, under bust point, and my waist. This is my waist. And this is my hip. Okay, we are actually making a gown in here, so this is serving as my hip right here, and my knee, and my full length. Okay, so but the purpose of this tutorial is not to show you how to make a gown. It is the Raglan sleeve that is the main purpose of this tutorial. So on my hip line from the center front, I'm dividing my hip by hip of 46 inches. I'm dividing it by 4, and you can see I have the marking of it in here. I just have the marking of 46, and waist in here, I have the waist including the dart at 10 inches. Okay, so all I'm going to do is to connect. I'm just connecting it to the hip line to form my gown. Can you see? So we don't need this line. Okay, this extension is for the half scale bodice top. Okay, so being a gown, this is actually the shape you need in your gown. All right, so I'm going to impute the darts. Okay, so the dart for the front from the shoulder, okay, for the front is starting at 12, and my bust span divide by 2, I have 3.5. So I'm going to start my dart at 12 inches, and I'm going to end it at 22 inches. So I'm going to make a mark of my bust span at that 22 inches, and I'm actually going to connect. I'm connecting my bust span to my where my dart started. Okay, so on the waistline I'm sharing my dart. I added 1 inch to my waist. Okay, when I calculated my waist divided by 4, I added 1 inch, and that is what I have in here. So right here I'm forming my dart right away, because we are going to hold this dart on our fabric. Okay, all right people, like I said, we are making a gown, a fitted gown. Okay, so now this is the upper part of this dress, and that is the purpose of this tutorial. So now the Raglan sleeve cutting. So for the Raglan sleeve cutting is just as easy as ABC, provided you have matched the sleeve. Okay, this is the sleeve and that is the bodice. This is our sleeve. The sleeve has been fused to the bodice. So now we are going to extend our neckline. We don't really want it. This is the natural neckline, and we don't really want the neckline to be choky. So since we don't want the neckline to be choky, all I'm going to do now is to extend my neckline. I'm going to make my neckline I'm going to extend it by 0.75. Can you see? 0. Because it's actually a high neck. As you can see on the picture, it's actually a high neck. But if you don't want it so choky, we can make it 4x4. All right, let's make it 4x4 to be at the safe side. That is 4 inches, 4 inches. You know I have 3 inches, 3 inches there. So adding 1 inch all around makes it 4 inches. So that is the first thing you do to create your desired neckline before you start the Raglan sleeve. So I'm going to connect my new neckline. This is the new neckline we are working with for this Raglan sleeve. So of course the neckline I have in here is for the front. I'm going to use this particular pattern to cut both my front and my back. So my back is going to be a little high. I'll make it at 1.5. and it's still going to be connected to my 4 inches. So I'll quickly, connect my back neckline. Of course, that is the first we are going to cut after making this pattern. So now I've connected it right away. So the next thing I want to do now is time for us to start the Raglan cutting. So for the Raglan cutting, like I said, it's just a simple thing. Just connecting your neckline to your shoulder. That is what makes it Raglan. So from this point, I have my new neckline. I'm going to come down by 2 inches. Okay, you can also come down by 3 inches, but it should not exceed 3 inches. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I have a higher Raglan in there. In the picture, if you look at it very well, so I'm coming down by 2 inches from the shoulder slant, as you can see. So now I'm going to connect these 2 inches right away. I'm connecting it all the way to the tip of my armhole this way. Can you see? So the Raglan is taking shape. Okay, all right, so this is it people. So now at this point we have our Raglan connected. The next thing I want to do, I'll come in from this center of this curvy part. I'm going to make a mark of, because I need to, of 0.25 this way, 0.25. So from this point to this point is 2.5, from this point to this point is 2.5. So I'm going to, give it a slight curve from the armhole to that 0.25, blending in. It has to blend in systematically, so you have to be careful when blending this part. Can you see? You have to just blend it. That is Raglan sleeve cutting. So at this point you can see what we have in here. Okay, so you make sure it matches up with what we have, the same part of the curve you use. So I'm going to reconnect it because it's as if, all right, so you have this curve this way, this curve this way, and that is how we are going to cut off our Raglan sleeve. So now remember I said we are making use of this for both the back. So since we are making use of it for both the back cutting of a Raglan sleeve, I'm going to extend this straight line. I'm extending it all the way to the back this way. So when I cut off the back part right now, I will be cutting the neckline as well. So this is it, people, and there's nothing in there for Raglan sleeve. We are done. So all we are going to do now is to start cutting. So I'm going to cut. Of course, this is a long sleeve Raglan sleeve. So being a long sleeve Raglan sleeve, and you can see we have the wrist parts. We have some gathers to the wrist part. So because of the gathers we have on the wrist part, that is going to make, cause us to slash and spread. So we are going to slash that part, the wrist part, in order for us to get that gathers in there. Okay, so I'm going to cut this Raglan sleeve. You can see how I'm cutting it. I'm cutting through this line. Like I said, I'm cutting the back part first. So to cut the back part first, it means I'm cutting through the back neckline. That is the first part. Okay, so you can see it here. All right, so there's one more thing I want to let you know. You know the back will have a zipper. So since the back has a zipper, I have my waistline to contour my back. Because I said I'm cutting the back part first, that means I'm going to cut on my fabric the back. Then we'll trim off the front and use this same pattern to cut the front. So now on the waistline, you know how you contour your back. You just come in by 0.5 because the human back is not as straight as this. So I'm going to connect it all the way to the shoulder line this way. Can you see? So that is it, and I'll take it back to my hip line. That is my back contour. Okay, all right, so from that point I'm going to add 1 inch for my zipper, 1 inch for the zip. Okay, so remember we are cutting the back. After cutting the back, then we are going to cut the front as well. All right, people, so my zipper connection, that's what I'm doing in here. I've connected my zip. So this is my zip right now, and it's extending all the way to the hem part of this gown. Okay, all right, people, so now you can see the Raglan, which is the main purpose of this tutorial. So I'm going to cut off this other part. You know, we moved in this way so as to have a good fit at the armhole. So I'm taking away this, we don't need it. So this is what you expected to have, so that once you fix your Raglan, when we are attaching it, we attach it as if we have an armhole in there for it to relax. You can see how it's relaxing. So now it's going to, as if you have an armhole. In fact, that is what I'm trying to explain. So this is what you expected to have at this point. And at this point, we are done with the Raglan sleeve cutting. So right now, it's time for us to slash and spread the sleeve and cut out the sleeve and cut out the back. So the back part we are cutting, I'm cutting through the contour line. We don't need this part because it's going to cause a lot of puffiness for us on our garment, so I'm taking it away. So the back part of this is going to be like this. Okay, I believe you understand what I'm trying to explain. So just follow this video and make your own, and you can also post to the group, all right, the WhatsApp group, what you made and all that. So I'm going to cut out the shape of the gown, and we are going to also add our seam allowances on our fabric and hold on at that. Okay, so if you want to make a free gown, with the Raglan sleeve cutting. You can just add your ease allowances, but we want this to be a fitted gown, just a fitted gown. So being a fitted gown right now, I'm not adding anything. We are going to make it to fit, hold at that, and it's going to fit on the body as well. Okay, all right, so let me quickly cut off so we can start cutting on our fabric. All right, beautiful people, so now you can see I'm done cutting the back piece of my Raglan sleeve. You can see it, so I just want you to look at it very well. You can see it's a gown, the hip line, the knee line, and the full length. Okay, so that's how you expected to have your gown and your contour line. Okay, like I said, the gown is fitted and we are using one pattern to cut both the front and back, and we are holding our darts both at the front and at the back. The waistline, I added 1 inch to it, but I want to also make a little adjustment here. You know, we took 0.5 inch. We need to add up our pepper here too. We need to add up our pepper right away to accommodate that dart we took away. So you are going to accommodate, if not you are going to have a shortage at that point. So always make sure you accommodate your whatever you take in. It's give and take. Okay, so whatever thing you take out, you have to also replace that. So I'm adding up my pepper right now, and I'm going to, on the waistline, I'm going to add the 0.5 inch we came in from the center front to contour our line. So I'm coming in by 0.5. So at that point of 0.5 right away, I'm going to blend up the line the same way we blended it. You can see the dart accommodation. You can see this is what we accommodated, and then you can see also is affecting this part as well. So since it's affecting that part, we are also going to use our hip curve to connect back to where we have it. So we are connecting with our hip curve back to where we have our contour line. So you can see the line has been replaced right away. So now I'm going to cut, you know, because we've replaced what we took away. Please make sure you replace, if not you'll be having a shortage at that point. So we are good to go right now. This is our sleeve right now, and the sleeve is going to be attached for the back at this point. Can you see? Like I said, the Raglan sleeve is a very simple sleeve. All you need to do is to step down from the shoulder at either 2 inches or 3 inches and connect back to the neckline and give this the Raglan sleeve cutting, and that is it. Okay, all right, so it's time for us to slash and spread. We need to slash and spread to have the gathers on the part of these as you see it on the screen. So we are going to slash. It's not actually going to be in this shape. We are going to extend this sleeve so we can gather it back into the cuff. I have my pattern paper below for slashing and spreading, and of course you can see my sleeve here. I have to cut here on fold, so I'm going to put on this fold sign. This is the fold sign. So this sign means the sleeve will be cut on fold. Okay, after we must have finished slashing and spreading, we are going to cut our sleeve on fold. So now you can see I have a vertical and horizontal line where I'm going to place my sleeve right now, so we can start slashing and spreading. So the first thing I'm going to do is to slash this sleeve, and I'm going to slash this sleeve accordingly. I'm going to take the measurement I have from the bicep line. I'm going to divide it into sections of 2 inches to 2 inches. Okay, so at this point of 2 inches to 2 inches, I'm going to draw a straight line. What I'm trying to do here is slashing and spreading this sleeve. So I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to this point so we can slash accordingly. Okay, so having slashed accordingly right now, we are now going to have our cuff attached to it. So now you can see what I just did there. So I'm going to cut. Wow. Okay, so make sure if you are joining your paper, join it appropriately. Okay, join it appropriately. All right, so I'll keep cutting. Okay, so we are going to spread accordingly. It depends on the fullness we actually need. The fullness we actually need for this sleeve is going to tell us how we are going to spread it. Okay, so all right, so now we are going to make use of these vertical lines like I showed you. This particular first sleeve, is not going to move. We are going to paste it on this first line. It's going to be there. Remember, this part is going to be on fold. So I'm going to apply my adhesive right here so we can tape it down. Okay, so this part goes onto this part this way. All right, so having done that, I have this firmly fixed. So I'm going to slash right now at 2 inches interval. So starting all the way from what I have in here right now, I'm going to measure 2 inches. So if you want it to be so full, you can increase your slash and spread. So this is 2 inches right now, and at this point of 2 inches right now, I'm going to apply my adhesive to stick the second panel. So these are the panels here, panel 1, 2, 3, 4. Please make sure you number them. So for the panel 2, I'm going to place it on the 2 inches, as you can see this way. Can you see? So the next panel is panel 3. I'm going to measure from the point the panel 2 stopped and make a mark at panel 3. So you can see my panel 3 is already where it is right away. All right, so I'm going to tape it down. I'm going to measure the 4th panel. This is the 4th panel, and then I'm going to tape it down as well. All right, so I'm done slashing and spreading, and you can see I spread at 2 inches. Can you see? So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect these lines right away. Can you see? That is the sleeve. I'm connecting right away, and of course I'm going to cut through this line. I'm going to cut through this. So you can see we have added some fullness has been added to this sleeve. Right, so you can see what I have in here right now. You can see some fullness has been added to this sleeve. You can see. So now I'm going to cut. I'm cutting right away. So remember, this part is kept straight. Please, it has to be straight, just as I demonstrated. Okay, and this part has to remain the same. Remember, that is the armhole for the Raglan sleeve. And then I'm going to All right, people, so this is a regular sleeve right now. So I'm going to bring in my bodies right now and pretend joining them. So once I join them, this is what I get on that sleeve for the back. Okay, this is what I get for the back. You can see that it's actually looking so beautiful and wonderful. Can you see? So it's as simple as this regular sleeve cutting. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to start cutting. But before we start cutting, remember this sleeve has a cuff. We have a cuff at which we are going to gather all of this into. And for us to create that cuff, I'm going to make use of the measurement of my wrist. Okay, so my wrist measurement, I have 9.5 inches. What I mean by wrist is here. Okay, but this is not actually the measurement I'm taking. I'm taking my measurements. So like I said, all these things are done in our online classes. So if you want to learn more, please join Simrai Fashion Academy online classes to learn how to take your measurements appropriately. Okay, so you can contact us on WhatsApp for more details. All right, I'll be dropping the link and the phone number on the description box below in case you want to contact us for your online classes. All right, so now this is my cuff. Okay, the cuff is the part at which we are going to attach. As you are seeing on the screen, is going to be attached this way. So I'm using my wrist measurement. Okay, so my wrist measurement in here, I'm taking all my wrist measurement. I have it at 9.5 inches. Starting from this straight line, you can see I have a straight line. I'm measuring at 9.5. So I'm going to rule the 9.5 line. And my cuff, I want to make use of a cuff of 3.5, of which you can see I have 3.5 here. So I'm going to distribute the 3.5 all the way, starting from my baseline. Okay, so this one will serve as my baseline. And you can see I have 3.5 inches all through. So now I'm going to cut off my cuff. When we are cutting this cuff, we are also going to place it on fold. You are going to see how everything is going to be done in the purpose of this tutorial. So I'm trimming off my cuff of 9.5. Please take the measurement of your own wrist. Okay, but the length remains 3.5. okay, that is the height of the cuff. Like I said, it's going to be placed, that is from here to here, remains 3.5. You can also make it 3 inches. So now we are done and we want to start cutting. Okay, so now you can see I'm done cutting the back, but I'm going to explain to you what I just did in here. Okay, so if you look at this, you can see I have my zipper here. And I have to cut because I've already added my 1-inch zipper allowance in here as well. So you can see that I added 0.5 on the neckline for the back. I added 0.5 following this curve. You can see I still follow this curve. Make sure you follow this curve, is very important, as little as it is. Make sure you give this curve, this curvy, you know, and follow the 0.5 accordingly. So coming over to the sides, I added 1.5. I'm supposed to add 1 inch, but I added 0.5 for ease. Okay, so this 0.5 is going to be, it's a fitted gown of course, but I don't want it to be so tight. So you are going to add 1.5 if you don't want it to be so tight. If you want it to be tight the way it is on your body, you can go by 1 inch and stitch at 1 inch. But I added 1.5 and I'm going to stitch at 1 inch. Please take note. 1.5, but I'll stitch at 1 inch, leaving 0.5 for ease to my gown. So I added 1.5 all through till I get to the hem. Okay, so the length of this paper includes both my hemming allowance. I added everything, my hemming allowance, everything is here. So that is why you can see I did not add any hemming allowance. So this is what you expected to have: the hem part, the zipper part, the sides. You can see everything in place. So now I have to fold I have two of my fabric here, left and right, so it has to be two. So I'm going to place this pattern the way it is on my lining. I'm going to, cut out my lining, but my lining is not going to be as long as this. I'm cutting a lining that will get, before 3 inches of my knee length. Okay, I'm not going to have it as a full lining, it's going to be a half lining. So I'm going to place my lining right away, right on this paper, and cut. Okay, so now I'm done with the back. You can see the lining. This is the lining, and I'm going to make a mark to them, indicating which part is the back and which part is the front. I'll also do that to my Ankara fabric also. So when stitching it, I will know which part is the back and which part is the front. So you can see I have both my lining and everything is set. So right now I'm going to take off this pattern. Remember, I told you we are going to use it for both back and front. So it's time for us to start, cutting the part for the front. So I'll set my back aside for stitching. I'm going to, so like I said, the lining is half lining, okay? It's not going to be full lining. So I will set it aside, and then I'm going to alter the front again, okay, to get the front pattern. So this is the neckline for the front. I'm going to cut off through the neckline for the front this way, and I'm cutting through the center front. Please take note of where I'm cutting. You can see the black line, not the contour line. The contour line is for the zip, and the center front line is straight. The center front is straight, it's not curvy just like the back. So I'm cutting off the allowance I added for my zip. You can see that. So this is what you're expected to have for the front. So I'm going to quickly place my fabric, and this part is going to be on fold. This is the fold sign. I'm going to fold the front part of it and add my seam allowances all through, cut out my lining just as I did for the front before we start cutting the sleeve. All right, beautiful people, so you can see this is the front. Can you see? And you can see it's on fold. I have my lining, I folded my fabric, both the lining, I folded everything, and I added 1.5 on the side. And you can see the lining is short. I cut it at the knee length, both the front and the back, and I added 0.5 inch seam allowance. So this neckline we took 4x4. It depends on you. It depends on what you want. If you want it as high as it is in there on the picture, 4x4 is okay. You can also step down, okay, for the front, not the back. Let me just step down so it is not, I'm afraid it might be choky, okay, at 4 inches depth. So you can just extend it, but still maintain, make sure you still have this at this point. What I'm taking down is only this part. So you can see I still have it in here. That's just a little adjustment. I don't want it to choke at all, so I step down more. That is, we now have our neckline at 4.5 depth. Okay, please take note. So I'm going to cut off this excess which I altered now. Can you see? So you can go as deep as you want on your neckline. It's all your choice, okay? So now I've reduced my neckline. So now that I've reduced my neckline, the next thing I'm going to do is to trim off the 0.5. Remember, you have to add back your seam allowance, so I'm taking away the excess seam allowance. So make sure you trim it off accordingly, because we are going to stitch at 0.5. all right, so I think we have something better and good this way. So now I'm going to set the front aside, and we are going to start working on the sleeves. So to start cutting the sleeves right now, I'm going to make use of this chiffon fabric, as you can see. So this chiffon fabric you are seeing here, I'm going to place it on fold for this part. Okay, so I'll quickly place it on fold right now, and this is what. Okay, I'm just going to fold it the back. I'm cutting both the front and the back, so let me cut everything, the left and the right, sorry. So for me to cut the left and the right, I'm folding every of my fabric as you are seeing here. So I'll just cut the 2 sleeves. So this part is going to be on fold. You can see the part on fold. For the 2 sleeves, I have this on fold, I have this on fold because I'm cutting the 2 of them together. So now I'll be placing my sleeve. Alright people, so you can see right here I've cut out my sleeve right now, and this part I kept it on fold, and I added 0.5 inch all the way from this point, 0.5 all the way to this point. Okay, so I'm taking away my sleeve right now. So this is the part of the part that will be connected to the neckline. You can see that. So we are going to stitch it to the neckline and stitch this part to the armhole. So you can see the effect I was talking about in here on the sleeve. Okay, so everything here is on fold like I earlier said. And now we are going to gather this. We are going to gather this into our cuff. So let me just trim it off a little bit. Okay, you know this is a chiffon fabric and is wobbling up and down. So make sure you have everything trimmed off at the same point. Alright, so I'm taking away my pattern since we've gotten our sleeve. So the next thing I want to do is to cut out the cuff. And to cut out the cuff, I'm going to use my Ankara fabric. That will be the cuff. So I'm going to fold my cuff. Like I said, you are going to place it on fold. And then I'm going to place my pattern. Placing this part on fold. Then I'm going to add 0.5 inch here. Adding 0.5 all around, which we are going to use to stitch. Okay, so 0.5 all around. Okay, so let me shift it a little to minimize my fabric. Alright, so 0.5, that's what I'm adding for my cuff. And this cuff I'm going to cut 2 times of it. So this is just a sample cuff, just one of it. I'm going to place this one on top. Let me quickly cut it out so I will know I have my 2 cuffs for the 2 sleeves. Okay. Alright, so people, we are done. So we are going to the machine right now to start fixing and stitching everything. Okay, so you are going to see how we are going to stitch everything, both the fabric